Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. So today is a get ready with me day. I'm gonna chat you through the process of getting ready and my thought process when I'm putting together a look. Today we're doing kind of like we're in between seasons. So we're talking summer, going into fall, showing you some fun fall shades, but yet also giving you some staying power to your makeup, so some longevity tips since it's still kind of hot outside. So if you want to check it out, please keep watching. Be sure to like and subscribe so you see when my next video is live. And as always, thanks for watching. Okay, friends, come get ready with me. Let's just do it. I did not know what to call this makeup because I was like, what time of year is this? You guys, anybody else feeling me? It's like still wearing tank tops, starting to get a little cool, itching for fall, but not quite, not quite ready for fall yet either. So I don't know, are you guys like ready for pumpkin spice everything, or are you like, no, summer cannot be over, holding on to it as long as you can? I'm kind of right in the middle. So I thought, you know what, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you, because I'm getting a lot more questions lately on like colors for fall. Already people are like itching for those fall shades. So I'm like, all right, let's kind of ease our way into fall and not do it all out fall tutorial. Like, I'll get there. Let's wait till September. And this one will be more like transitioning into fall, how to kind of still use a little bit of summer shades with those fall tones. So we'll see what we come up with, right? Does that sound good? Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and just prime my eyes like normal. I already have my sunscreen on and my lip balm, actually lip plumper, which is why my lips look so red. So this is Thank Me Later by Elizabeth Mott. It is linked in the box below. And then I also used the City Lips lip plumper, which is why all the blood flow is going towards the lips. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use Stay Spray. So this is also still a hot time of the year. I feel like August is also can be really hot. And I don't know about you guys, but like we just started soccer season and my kids are all three of them are playing soccer this year. So I live outside for a while, practices and games, and until it starts cooling down, it's very easy to feel like you're melting, right? So I'm also gonna talk still heat longevity. So I have practice tonight. I will be taking this off and I want my makeup to stay. So I'm gonna also trying to get my makeup to stay all day, kind of an application as well. So I'm just gonna go pretty much in my T-zone here with my Stay Spray, the normal Stay Spray, and that will kind of moisturize my skin, give me a nice base so my creams can adhere well. All right, let's get right into it. I loaded this triple decker up with a very multitude of shades. I'll show you my favorite shades for fall. And oh my gosh, all the fall tones. Fall eye looks probably are my favorite. So I'm gonna try to like dial myself back a little bit. I couldn't decide. So I threw a bunch in and I'll go over them. All right, let's go ahead and just do face. I'm gonna do real quick because I tend to overtalk, you guys know me. So let's go ahead and just do thin base of Mango. If you're new here, this is my color corrector. I'm just gonna lightly tap in and use the B² brush. Anywhere I need extra coverage, extra longevity, color correction for my redness, or my nose is darker, all the things. Around the nose where a lot of people have broken capillaries, that color is incredible on. So tip of my chin is red as well. And then in between my brows. Okay, so that is my very thin light layer. And then I go in with my finger and this cream is starting to dry out. Okay, and I'm gonna go use the warmth of my finger and just kind of, and I got too much, so I'm gonna switch to another finger and use that finger to kind of blend it out. Okay, now if you get too much right off the bat, have no fret. Just pick up your perfector. I'm not using the side that I just sprayed the Stay Spray. That will pull it all off because it's too wet there. But I'm using the opposite side just to kind of press that in and remove excess, because I have been wearing this makeup long enough, I can tell when I have too much, because I kind of dug my finger in instead of just went tap, tap. Okay, so I'm gonna go on this side, get rid of all those blue purple tones, and then I'm also gonna tap in, and I have hyperpigmentation right here. So, and a nice little unwanted friend there as well. So this is also the perfect color for blemishes when you got those bad boys. Okay, so anywhere you need extra coverage, press it on. Just like so. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with my main shade, same brush, still just barely tapping in. And I'm just gonna tap right on over that. And I just realized I forgot to color correct my eyelids. So I like to use the Buffy for this just because it fits the shape of my eyelid really well. So I'm gonna go back into Mango real quick and just color correct my lid. So I'd already primed my eye, which for me is crucial with creams, otherwise I'll get creasing. And that will get all the way up in that inner corner and get rid of all those unsightly veins. And then I'm gonna tap in just a touch into my main shade to kind of tone that down, get it back to matching the rest of my skin. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back to this brush. So this brush is just, doesn't get in those little areas as well. It's a little too big. I do use it for under my eye for that main shade to just kind of lightly tap that out and get rid of the warmth under my eyes that Mango will give. But then I'm just gonna kind of, barely using any, you guys, just enough to tone down the warmth. And I'm pressing on so I'm not moving that color corrector, and I'm keeping the layers super thin. It's the key to making it look like skin and still getting coverage. Okay, so I don't do like the top of my forehead. I do this area because I need extra coverage. That is where I'm red. But otherwise, I'm all even out. I'm one shade. I'm very flat. So let's add that dimension back. My favorite brush, Detail Hack. Now, when I think fall, this is one of my favorite colors for fall because it immediately adds warmth to the face. So if you've never tried indigo, do not be scared. It is one of our very darkest contours, but just means you can apply less. So tap, 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 getting it on half the brush, okay? And then we're just going to press that right there. And I just keep pressing. You can actually pull upwards to blend. Now, if this color does not blend on you very well, you can either like go into a cool shade and add a little bit of Astoria. If it's too warm, I love to mix those two. But this shade can, on some people, not blend well and look patchy. I find the number one reason for that is exfoliating the face. So I notice if I have not exfoliated lately and I try to wear indigo, it won't blend out and it'll be kind of spotty. And that's my key, my sign. I need to exfoliate that area. So time to tinkle the face. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you probably think I just sounded crazy. Okay, I got a little low right there. So I'm just gonna pick up that highlight brush. Just kind of sweep it back. Do you see that natural warmth? This side needs blended better. okay? This is a great shade if you don't want to bronze and contour. I love this shade for fall. This shade definitely shows up on my forehead better than any other shade. So sometimes I'll use Astoria on my cheeks because it blends out better for me. And then I use Indigo on my forehead. So just push it up into the hairline and down. If you have a whole lot of redness, I don't recommend this shade because it will just pull your natural skin tone a little bit redder. Now, if you don't mind warmth, you'll love it. Oh my gosh, noisiest earrings ever. Can you tell they're metal? Okay, so got the face contoured. I'm gonna do my nose real quick. One thing about Indigo is I cannot put that on my nose at all. So let me just kind of swatch Indigo so you have an idea. You see how kind of warm that is? And it has almost like reddish undertones. So on some people it pulls very red, okay? If I was to put that on my nose, it would look like two red stripes. So the noses are naturally the most red of anywhere on your face. So that is why the contour shadow was created. So in comparison, this is shadow and this is indigo. Shadow is very dark and gray, and it is designed only for noses. So you shouldn't ever be color matched to this for the face. It's meant to only be used for the nose because it's so gray. It can actually make you, it's not gonna look good on most people's faces unless you just have a whole lot of redness. So it is the best choice for your nose if your nose pulls red at all. So I'm just gonna kind of get it on the very edge of my brush and use that straight edge to draw me a little line right there. Do you see how that doesn't pull red at all? I mean, that color is the best. So it is similar to Astoria, but it is more gray than Astoria. So I got a little wide, but that's okay. We'll fix it. I'm gonna take the excess just right under my bottom lip and we're golden. So I'm already ready to brighten. So my favorite brush to brighten is, again, this small end of the Buffy. So I can just get it right in there. And I'm just gonna tap it into my brightener, and I'm gonna go straight for this inside corner first. Okay, and then I'm not picking up any more product. I'm just gonna distribute that by just simply taking small little taps and tapping it outward and downward. Okay, and then I'm kind of just filling in this entire triangle without really adding a whole lot of product here, because you know that is where my smile lines are. That is where I get issues. So you can add a little bit more right here. If you have aging eyelids, really concentrate that brightness right here so it doesn't emphasize, because again, the lighter you go with your accent brightener, the more it will emphasize any texture. So if you do have lines like I do, you don't want to go super light. Okay, so we're looking for that happy medium, that still getting that brightness, but without it emphasizing things you don't want, okay? So some people have better, success with layering, even using maybe a more subtle one all the way underneath their eye, and then just putting barely, just barely pop in a little bit in right in that inner corner, and then blending it down, and it sits on the skin better without emphasizing texture. So remember, with this makeup, you've got to match those darkest tones first. So if you are not using like color correctors and stuff under your eyes, it might be that your under eye accent brightener is too light for the skin directly under your eyes. That's gonna increase the look of any fine lines that you might have, and we want to avoid that, right? So I'm just gonna take one more tap in between, like right in the center of my forehead and my chin, okay? And I even put a little on my Cupid's bow, and then I will turn my brush and use this pointed end to try to make a stripe right in between, and then I'm just gonna pull that up all the way to that spot there. And then I'm gonna use this brush to really press it in. So with an accent brightener, it can really increase the look of texture or pores. If you're not pressing in that product, you're using a light hand, like this is way too much, but I will remove all the excess. But in order for you guys to be able to see kind of where I'm placing it, I tend to usually just apply it a little heavier than necessary. It's not necessary to add it that much. All right, so I'm just gonna blend out my nose. I like to use my fingers. I find sometimes the perfector will take off a little bit too much of my nose contour. I kind of use the warmth of my fingers just until I no longer see a stripe when I turn my head, and then I'm good. And then I haven't perfected yet. I'm gonna go ahead and perfect. So by now that Stay Spray area is kind of dried down a little bit. This should not feel wet at all. It should just be cool to the touch. And now I'm gonna really just take it and bounce it over the skin, not pulling in any way, everywhere, okay? And this is just gonna press in my makeup and remove any excess and kind of blend harsh lines at the same time. Now, the main place I do it is under my eyes, because this is where it will collect and crease. And this is where it can really look makeup-y if you put on too much. And this is too much under my eyes. So I'm just gonna sit here and pounce away, small little pounces, until I feel like I have pressed that in so much that it looks like skin again. Now, that's why the consistency of your perfector is key. It's too dry, it won't take anything off. It might take a little bit off, but it's really not going to pull away any of that excess that would crease normally. And so I'm constantly spinning this in my fingers as I feel it kind of dry and warm up. I can feel the coolness against my skin. So I'm looking for those cooler areas. The warmth of your skin will warm up the perfector, and that's kind of my sign that that side's kind of dry and it's not gonna do anymore, so it's time to rotate it. So you guys know me, my under eyes is my problem child. So I'm gonna use my finger. Your fingers are great tools. I know we're kind of like anti-touching our face, but just wash your hands beforehand, and you're fine with your own face, right? So once I see I have no more creases, I'm going straight back to the powders, baby. So I'm gonna pick up my powder brush, and I'm just gonna touch right there, okay? And I just do that area first. I just barely touch my powder to my vanilla dust, and that's enough to set my entire under eye, and I'll get no creasing all day. But it's not too much powder that's gonna actually make my eyes look older. That is my pet peeve for myself. Like, I hate it when I look and I'm like, oh, I just aged myself 10 years because I added too much powder under my eyes. No bueno. Okay, so face is almost done. Let's talk lip and cheeks. This is part of the fun part about a fall. So I've been asked a lot lately what are my favorite lip and cheeks for fall, and it's hard for me to pick. Let me wipe this off my hand so I can swatch them. It's really hard for me to pick one because I feel like there's a lot of good ones. So depending on your preference, whether you like mattes or you like glosses, you guys know me, I like to use a matte first for the pigmentation, then I like to use a gloss over it because I love that glow, and it gives you better longevity because the glosses on their own don't last as long as the mattes do. So I consider this a satin. So I think I've got like 2 mattes, 2 glosses, and a satin. And these are my 5 fave. I didn't even include the red ones. I don't wear much bright red, but the red ones are gorgeous as well if you like red. So let's go. Number 1 is Plum. So if you've tried Nude, this is a darker more mauve version of nude. Okay, it's a little less warm, it's a little cooler. So even though this isn't like, technically you think of fall, you think of like cool tone, you think of warm tones. This to me still screams fall. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's still a fall color, right? Then you got sandstone, which is pretty much what I think of when it comes to fall, which is warm tones. It's such a pretty color. So one of my favorite things is actually to mix these two. So plum and sandstone, what do we call it? Plum stone, me and my friends. Let's see if I can try to mix it on the back of my hand to see if you can see how pretty those are together, depending on the ratio, of course. Okay, so it's still kind of, I mean, you could even add more purple to that. Oh, such a pretty color. So that's a great fall color as well. And you don't have to mix it first. You can literally just dip into each and apply straight to the face. So it's like this will cool down this a little bit and make it a little bit less bright and a little bit more cool, but it's still, I feel like overall pretty warm. Oh, that's a pretty shade. So, plumstone. and then we have, okay, so this I consider satin. It might actually be considered a gloss. I can't remember off the top of my head, but this is now limited edition. And you guys, I was so sad when I saw this because I wear this year round, not just fall. A lot of these colors I tend to only wear in fall, but this one I wear year round. And when I found out it was limited edition, made me so sad. So it might be a gloss because it's actually pretty sheer. So this is Love Spell, and it looks really dark in the 10. And online, it looks like almost black. Like it looks so dark in the photos, but it's not. It actually has gilded eyeshadow in it, which is what makes that beautiful color. So if you don't remember, so this is Love Spell. Gilded is this one right here. Okay, so it is so pretty. It's actually a mix of Desert Sunset Lip and Cheek, which is a gloss. So yeah, this one is glossy. Sorry guys, I tend to forget sometimes. And then that eyeshadow. But really on me, it's just like, it can be so sheer that it just gives me like the prettiest glow. So this one does have a little shimmer in it. It does give more glow. I literally put it on top of everything. So that's Love Spell. It is limited, so if you want it, you better snag it before it is gone forever. And then I'd say Royal, which is still pretty new, I feel like. It's more of a wine gloss. Okay, so it's got a little bit more red, and it is more sheer. So this is it swatched pretty heavily. But it's got more of those wine undertones. I feel like it's pretty close to this, but just a little glossy. Okay, so that is Royal. And then when I started mascara, you guys, I literally wore this every single day. And anyone that I tried the makeup on, I forced them to try it. And it has always been one of my very favorites, but I tend to mostly use it in the fall. And that is Black Cherry, the one that looks literally black in the 10, but it is actually really sheer and so pretty. It has more purple undertones. So to me, one of my very favorite combos is plum with black cherry over it, because you guys know me, I like the glossy. It gives a little bit of those glossy tones. But this looks good over anything. It looks good over pinks, peaches. I've mixed it with everything. So if you like, it simply just adds a little bit of cool tones, I find. That's what my opinion is. And of course, the glow factor. So I love that. So now we have to decide what colors to actually wear, which is really hard. So I was thinking we could do like a matte pink for the pigment and then put one of these glossy shades over it, or we could go vice versa and go a warm tone and put a pink glossy over it. And I don't know if I've ever done that, so that's what we're gonna try. I'm gonna do, for funsies, let's just mix these. Okay, so I'm just gonna take Sandstone, Plum, okay? I'm gonna go straight to the cheek, so apple of the cheek, 1 to 2 widths over from your nose, Oh my gosh, you can tell I was swiping into them because then I got a lot on. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of blend that out, apples of the cheeks and on up. Okay, I feel like I got a little too much, so I'm just gonna flip it over, kind of blend that out. Now, you guys know our lip and cheeks kind of die down after about 5 minutes, so I'm gonna kind of give that a second. And this one I'm gonna kind of pounce on the back of my hand. Get off excess first, and that always helps as well. Once you start like swiping into those creams with your fingers, they warm up really easily, especially those mattes. They might feel dry and then you're like, whoa, okay, it's not so dry. They're actually pretty creamy. Okay, and then you can still kind of perfect around the edges. Kind of blur that out. If it gets too close, you can even pick up your highlight brush, pull it over. Because remember, there are no mistakes. We're not setting anything yet. I technically set my under eyes, but you guys will notice it does not affect it at all to set your under eyes and then go ahead with your lip and cheek. Not at all. Okay, so there you go. That was pretty much this color. Plum stone, is that what I called it? Yeah, I think that was it. And now I'm gonna top it off with something glowy and pink. So my first instinct was to top it with Sunshine State, but alas, it is limited edition and it's, I think, gone forever because it's not currently available. But Lolly is another one that originally came out for summer. It's another one that is pink. It looks very bright, but it's not, and I heavily swatched this. It's actually a very sheer pink with a slight like iridescence. You see that? Oh, it's so pretty. So I thought that would be really fun over it. So let's do Lolly over it. So we're mixing it up. We're still getting a little summer vibes with some warm tones and some summer tones. I don't know. To me, I'm thinking what's in between summer and fall? A mix of warm and cool, right? So we got pop of pink, but we still got that warmth underneath it. I love it. So I'm a bronzer all year round kind of person. So if you're not, yeah, you'll have to excuse me, but I bronze all fall. I know I have a lot of clients that it is a summer thing for them that they break out the bronzer. So let's continue to use the bronzer, shall we? So my favorite is mixing our Bella cream bronzer with Glow and my new fave, which is Muse Highlight. It's very similar to Bella. So that's Bella. And that's Muse, if I can swatch. And that's Muse. Okay, so Bella's more sheer, still warm. Muse is slightly warmer and darker, in my opinion. And it gives a little bit more extra coverage because it is a highlight. So I kind of swirl. I'm just gonna kind of tap, swirl into all three. And I already brightened, so I'm just gonna kind of tap where I didn't brighten. So I brighten the center. I'm just gonna tap right over that lip and cheek. It's gonna, again, add a little bit of warmth. So another great way to, you know, fall up your lip and cheeks is still to use your pinks and all that. It's not like you can stop. It's not like you have to stop using them. You can use pink 365, obviously. But putting a bronzer over it is going to instantly warm it up, or a bronzer under it, either one. I don't know why I switch it up on the daily, whether I put bronzer on first or put it on after. Either one works. Noisy earrings. Okay, so there you go. I still got my bronze, I still got my glow, and I really got my glow here. So let's go ahead and illuminate, and then we can do eyes. So I picked out a different one today. I tend to have some favorites, and you guys know it's hard for me to get off of those. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go with warm, I'm not gonna go with cool. I'm kind of just gonna meet in the middle. So Honey, this one I find is most natural on most skin tones. So I'm gonna go with this one. And I'm just gonna swipe in generously and pop that right on. So it's got just kind of more of like a slight yellow gold undertones. Okay, so there's honey. I'm gonna put a little bit on right here, and there you go. Okay, so we've done that layer. We've done that layer. Oh, put a little bit of lip conditioner on. Okay, so before I do the eyes, I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my face. So we're gonna do longevity, right? I find the best longevity is gonna be a loose powder. I love our Vanilla Dust. If you have oily skin though, or you want like the most like oil absorbing, long lasting makeup, a loose powder really will give you a better longevity when it comes to that kind of look or a matte look. So if you have oily skin, want a matte look, or you just want your makeup to last literally flawless all day, that's when I'll pick up my loose. So this one is probably my favorite that I can also use under my eyes as long as I keep it sparingly. And this is Hourglass Veil. So today which order should I do? So people are always asking me what order. So if you want your makeup to last absolutely the longest, you want to put on all your creams, spray your face with Stay Spray, then powder with a loose powder last and press it on, and then you can just take a big fluffy brush and brush off the excess. If you want kind of a mix of glowy and matte skin, that's when I'll recommend, spraying and just powdering where you need it. So most people, that's the T-zone, or you can just add it where, not necessarily where you contoured or put your lip and cheek, but just where you highlighted. So along the jaw, nose, lower forehead, all the highlighted areas that aren't covered with contour. So you can do that as well. Today, I think I kind of want a mix of both. Like, it's not so hot that I'm gonna feel like my face is melting off without a loose powder. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my loose powder on. I still want a dewy look to my skin. So I'm gonna powder and then I'm gonna spray very last. So I've already powdered underneath my eyes. I'm just gonna put a little bit in the lid, and I'm just gonna kind of press on a little bit with the big fluffy brush. Okay, and I'm not like baking or anything like that. I'm just gonna kind of press it on just on those areas. So nose, I do always hit my smile lines because I've got some deep creases there, so I can get creasing right there. I don't want it to dull down my lip and cheek, and I just put a glossy on top. So if you want extra longevity on your lip and cheek, I just went over that actually in a video over on Instagram on IGTV, but you can just use that matte lip and cheek, then powder, and then you can add your glossy on top of that. So that way you can still get your glow as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of do the T-zone. I'm not gonna go over the contour. It can kind of dull that area down. If you want all out longevity, you can also just go right into Cayman bronzer. Again, this one's limited edition as well, but you can go in and just add that to your contour areas, and it's gonna kind of lock that in place. I was sneezing from the powder. Okay, all right, I did forget to do my eyelids, so I'm gonna go back into Vanilla Dust and load that up generously and just press that on my eyelids. So I'm ready to go with my eyeshadows. Okay, now I'm locked and loaded and I can spray. So if you recently got a bottle of Stay Spray, the new ones, and you're finding it squirting out too aggressively, make sure you're shaking it really well. And then don't just like halfway squirt, you really got to commit to it. And these do spray forcefully. It's not like a fine mist like some others on the market, like this one. I don't know if you guys can even see that, but really fine. The founder actually designed these to spray more forcefully. So these that you're like, this one for sure is like really fine. You're supposed to spray this literally like 11 times on the face. No joke. That is what they recommend. This one is more like 3. So know that. Just be ready for it to hit you the first time, but you don't have to spray it as much. That was a lot more than 3, but I was trying to be forceful with the squirter so it came out, and I didn't get any direct squirts to the face. It worked. So just a little tip in case you didn't see that. Okay, so now that I've fully done all that, I feel like no, I didn't powder. I'm gonna add a little bit more Illuminator. Georgia's one of my faves. I'm gonna pick up the Best Blend Forever, which is for powder, and I'm just gonna kind of barely tap off excess. I'm just gonna go very gently right there to add a little bit more glow. Can you tell the difference? Might not be able to tell the difference. Our powder illuminators are much more glowy. So if you want that, if it's too glowy, just take your perfector over it and kind of tone it down. Okay, so that is Georgia. Let's get in with the eyes. I won't make you watch my brows. I'll fast forward. So I use Angled Brush and Trust eyeshadow, and I'm just gonna outline them really quickly and then fill them in, and then use the spoolie to blend it out. Okay, brows are done. I feel so much better. All right, let's talk eyes. So again, let's think, okay, fall tones, yet not completely fall. To me, that is kind of mixing a cool tone in with some warmer tones to kind of mix up your look. So I just did an entire week on eyeshadows, kind of how to build a palette and that kind of stuff. So hopefully that helped you when it comes to kind of choosing colors. Now my biggest choice is to pick which one. So I put a few, let's see, here's a few of my fave warm matte tones. So we have Bubba, Lullaby, and Zion. So I'm gonna start with Bubba, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and carve out my crease and just kind of windshield wiper that in my crease and right above. And then I'm gonna show you how you can add to it depending on the eye look you want. So this is how I start most of my eye looks. Just pick a mid-tone matte, give your eyes some definition, just kind of windshield wiper it back and forth right in the crease, go right above the crease so you can see it if you have hooded eyes like I do. And Bubba is a warm brown. If warmth scares you, some people are like, nope, that straight up, it looks orange, then grab Basic or Bird. Bird has more of a greenish undertone. It's a little bit more olive, and Basic is just straight up neutral, same mid-tone as Bubba, just no warmth. It literally will work on any eyes. Okay, so I'm just kind of slowly building up that color. Blends better if you don't load up your brush too much and you just add a little at a time. And then I'm just gonna halo with the small end right under my eye for definition. I swear it makes my wrinkles look less severe. I don't know what it is, the magic of the halo. Okay, so then I love it because you can either choose warm or cool. I find that like fall tones can go either way, but I feel like these are so similar to, if you like the tones like plum, There you go. There it is in an eyeshadow version. There's Lullaby. If you like Sandstone, Zion. So warm, cool, just like those two lip and cheek colors. Sometimes I love to coordinate and do like those warm reds on my lips, cheeks, and eyes. Sometimes I like to mix it up because those colors look great together, okay? So then you can kind of pick. If you're scared of warm tones, you don't have to use Zion. You can use something like Lullaby. So I'm gonna pick up Lullaby, and I'm just gonna pop it right inside, more in the actual crease, and let that peak of like the warmth of Bubba just kind of peek through. Okay, so you're kind of cooling down that eye look. Again, I feel like summer you can just kind of mix in a little bit of warm, a little bit of cool as we go into fall. When you want to warm up your look a little bit more, use more warm tones and less of those summery tones. I was trying not to pick too many summery tones. I feel like I have been wearing a lot of pinks on my eyes lately. Okay, so then I'm gonna grab a clean brush. What am I doing? Clean brush, and I'm gonna blur those edges and blend that out. Okay, so nothing too severe. You can totally stop right there. You can put a little bit of a highlight on your lids and call it a day. Let's see. So I feel like here's another, these shimmers right here in the middle. You can kind of go, okay, do I want warmth? The warmest would be something like Ginger, one of my all-time favorite shades. Gilded, like I showed you before, it looks awesome with Love Spell. Or Stardust, which is a more cool toned. It's kind of more like, I don't know, this shade I find very neutral. It's kind of goldy, not gold, not silver. It's kind of right in the middle. So that would be a really pretty shade if you want to add a little bit of cool tones to mix in with your warmth. So what should we do? So I'm just gonna take a little bit of Stardust, and I'm not gonna like pack it on the lid. I'm just gonna barely use my eyeshadow everything brush, and I'm just gonna kind of lightly dust that on the lid. So it's got a peak of shimmer and adding a little bit of those cool tones. It's so neutral. This is one of my favorite eyeshadows because it can literally go with any other color we have, any of them. So now that we kind of have that, again, we could stop right there. I'm gonna add just a little bit more definition. So normally, you guys know I like my outer corner. You can go with something like dark purple tones. I find this is very fall. This is Philly. I love this color because it's kind of, Philly and Cocoa are very similar. They're both that just warm, dark brown. They look good with anything. Or this is Rigoletto. So this one I find like will give you a little bit more cool tones without it being straight up cool. Let's try, let's just go for some Philly. I mean, Philly, you can't go wrong. I'm just gonna grab the blend and tap, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of depth right in that outer corner, pressing it on like so. Not much, little goes a long way. Into the crease. Okay, you can flip it around, blend out that harsh line. Okay, and then I'm gonna just a little bit on the outer corner, make sure those are connected. And there you go. We got like some mix of warms and cools. I feel like I really would need some eyeliner with this look because I feel like my lashes look not so thick and full. But besides that, it's a pretty eye look. Okay, so let's kick it up a notch. I've been obsessed with using our powder illuminators lately. So I always consider 2 of our powder illuminators very neutral that look good on any skin tone, and that would be Photoshop and Georgia. Some of the other ones are iridescent or very icy. This one, I guess you could consider more of a warm tone, but it kind of reminds me of honey. It's not like super bright or anything. It's kind of just that nice, like, I don't know, natural golden tones, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with that one, and I'm gonna go right on that inner corner. Okay, I'm gonna go brighten that, and I'm gonna go under the brow to highlight. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my middle finger, ring finger, whatever finger you want, and I'm just going to add a little bit right to like the ball, the eyeball, right to the ball of your eyeball. It just gives a little bit more punch to that Stardust. A little bit more gold. Catches the light a little bit more. And then I'm just gonna kind of take that brush, make sure it's blended out. But that's a great technique to kind of add like that pop of, it makes your eyes look bigger when you add just that light right to the center. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to just take a touch of Black Friday, which is our cream eyeliner, just along my lash line. Because when I do eye looks, I feel like sometimes your lash line gets lost in the eyeshadows. Define them back out, and it suddenly gives your eyes that finished look. Can you tell how much of a huge difference that just made? And that was just barely a touch. So I'm gonna add a little bit of Kohl eyeshadow, which is my favorite, to top our Black Friday off with, just to kind of set it and make sure it's not going to melt once again. I find they last really long, but you guys know I have oily eyelids, so better safe than sorry. Okay, clean up under the eye. Oh my gosh, I forgot to ever do, I never did lips. Let's do some lips. I'm gonna add a little bit of mascara. Okay. I feel like I went a little bit more dramatic on the eyes than I probably originally anticipated, but I love those colors together. They're so fun. So how should we do lips? All right, let's go back to lips and just, I'm gonna line them out real quick with my Multitasker and Indigo. But I'm just barely gonna use Indigo. I don't want it to darken it too much. So just to define that outer line. And then I'm gonna do the opposite of what I did on my cheeks. So instead of the fall matte shade first, I'm gonna do pink shade on my lips. So which one should I grab? Let's go pink grapefruit. So I'm gonna go with pink, it's matte. Woo. Okay, pink matte on the lips. And then I'm gonna go over it with one of these glosses. Which one should we do? Let's try Love Spell. See how it toned it down? Add a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of cool tones. And there you go. We kind of switched it up. I'm probably gonna have streaks of colors all over my shirt after all those swatches. So there you go. That was our fall summer mix up. What did you guys think? Do you like that? I feel like we got a lot of like pretty purpley, I like plum tones. I feel like it turned out pretty plum, but I like it. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions regarding the video, please let me know. If you need your own color match for 3D foundation, my color match request is in the drop box below the video. And I appreciate you all. Thanks so much for watching. Love you. Bye.